Hey folks, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who participated in our inaugural Manitoba Podcast Festival, which happened September 30th at the Park Theatre. It was a really, really fun time. Learned a lot, met a lot of new podcasters in the city that I didn't know about before, and it's definitely something we're going to keep doing. So you'll be hearing audio from those sessions, including a panel that I hosted and a panel that I was part of, in podcast form very soon. For now, I want to thank again all of the panelists, everyone in the audience, and especially the Park Theatre. Park Theatre has been a really good supporter of the show for a number of years now, and we're so happy that we could use their venue, put on such a cool event. They have so many great shows and so much going on that, as always, please check out the Park Theatre's website and look up what's happening. There's probably a show for you. It's hands down Winnipeg's best venue. Can't say enough good things about them. This episode of the podcast is my conversation with soul folk collective House Handshake. And this is a band that I'd heard a lot about over the past year and a bit, actually, but had never actually had a chance to sit down and talk to until now. It's a really fun conversation, great band. They're working on new stuff, they're working on some recordings, and it'll be very exciting to see where they go in the future.
Thank you to everyone who supports my dad's show. If you'd like to support Witchpolice Radio, go to patreon.com/witchpolice today.
You're listening to Garbage Hill, Winnipeg's first podcast network.
Alright, welcome to Witchpolice Radio. I am your regular host, Sam, and I am here in a house. It's not always a given that I'm in a house, because often I end up doing these like in the mall, or in the back of a van, or wherever. It's kind of the convenience and the inconvenience of having this little portable thing, is that, you know, I'm basically at the whim of whoever I'm interviewing. But this is a house, so this is nice.
Yeah.
And I'm here with, what is it? Is this 3/4 or 3/5, or... What are we?
1/2 at this point.
Yeah. One full half, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, of a band whose name I have not really been sure where to put the emphasis on the two words. So, because, like, how do you pronounce the name of the band? It sounds ridiculous because it's an English name.
Handshake.
Because I wasn't sure if it was House Handshake or House Handshake. That was my first thought, is House Handshake. But then I kept seeing it written as separate words, and it was just...
Kind of like House Handshake. I don't know. House Handshake.
House Handshake,
we
okay.
changed
There's
it.
kind of like pauses in between each.
And there's kind of like, in the logo, there's a little bit of a cap. It looks like the S is capitalized, so it looks like it's being emphasized. I know this is a ridiculous thing to talk about, but House Handshake.
You know, I'm actually like contemplating it myself, so that's funny that you...
Yeah, that was something in the early stage. It used to be House Hand, Space Shake.
Yeah, right. So that was like a House Hand Shake.
And I was just confusing, because like here we are talking about that.
Right. Okay, so House Handshake is how we're
Yeah. Just say it off quick.
Right. It was just funny because I kept hearing about you guys and had never actually... I mean, I'd heard other people say the name, but then I was always second guessing whether they were pronouncing it right or I was pronouncing it right. Or
What were you hearing?
actually, a lot of really good things. Before we even get into that, I will get into that in a second, but let's just go around the table. Everyone can introduce themselves and what they do in the band, and then people can put names to voices. So we'll just start here.
I'm Sarah. I'm the vocalist, and I play a little bit of ukulele as well.
I'm Quentin. I'm another vocalist, and I play guitar.
I'm Daryl. We didn't say last names. I'm going to say Daryl.
You can if you want to. it's not.
I usually play bass. Sometimes I pick up the ukulele. We're all songwriters, so like we kind of switch off positions sometimes. So we all do a little singing, a little jump arounds.
And who are we missing?
Tanner, who plays keys. Brennan Saul, who plays drums, and then Tate Hebert, who's been playing with us and starting to play some guitar and sing as well.
From
Cool.
Oz Conscious.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember that band. Is that band still around?
More of a solo project thing.
Okay.
At the moment, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
To go back to what you were just asking, what have I heard? I don't know where you guys came from, but it seemed like all of a sudden, I don't know if it was maybe a year ago or half a year ago or something, you just started appearing everywhere. And like I started... People were like, "Oh, you kept telling me about you guys in all very positive terms," and then I kept seeing, stuff online. You're playing every second show, and so where did this come from? Because all of a sudden it was just, not that I'm an expert on every band that comes out of the local music scene, but I like to think just over the course of doing this, I try to stay kind of informed about what's going on and who's out there, and all of a sudden you just appeared. So
I like that question.
I don't know if it's a question so much as just a ramble, but yeah.
Statement. Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Like, where do you come from?
We're all from Manitoba, around Winnipeg, but we left Vancouver, the three of us.
Okay.
We're in Vancouver. That's kind of like where we started House Handshake, the three
Yeah,
of us.
we all trickled out there one by one with like through a mutual friend.
Okay.
Like they had already been living there for a year before
How about that?
I came into their house. So, and yeah, they were like, there was like the idea of a band starting in that house.
Right.
Like the name was already there and everything. And then like came in and I don't know.
We came to Winnipeg, and then once we came back to Winnipeg because we knew Winnipeg was awesome.
Yeah.
Especially for its music scene. So when we got to the city finally, like when we got this house, was like, okay, we're all doing this for this. This is House Handshake. This house is all about the music. So, Daryl does a lot of the work, and I do a lot of booking gigs, and so does Sarah, and so that's where it all came from. Just this immense amount of focus coming from one living space.
Also, in the beginning, when we moved from BC to Ladywood, Manitoba, we stayed there pretty much during the solid winter time and just practiced and learned each other's songs as best as we possibly could, so we could start putting material out there. So we started making recordings in Ladywood and putting videos up, so people could kind of get the idea of who we were and what we were.
I think that might be the difference, actually, is because a lot of bands, when they start up, they don't really have anything, right? And I think you sort of appeared fully formed. All of a sudden, it was here's this band that has videos and has obviously been working on something kind of under the radar, and then all of a sudden you sort of emerged, right?
When we first came back from Vancouver, we kind of made it our purpose, against a lot of parents' will, to just be in a cocoon stage. Don't do a job or anything. Just focus on making this music thing happen, and as a result, we were able to just kind of dive into the scene here and get noticed at a decent rate of speed. Yeah.
We came in with 40, 45 songs or so,
which is quite a lot. 50. I mean, that's a couple albums worth, depending on
It's hard to make a set because we have so many.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good problem to have, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
sure.
Because that's got to be what it is then. Because it seemed like all of a sudden, because new bands start all the time, right? And you keep hearing about new projects people do, but it seemed like you had already there's something had already been formed, and that's kind of because you kind of jumped right into playing shows, right? I mean, it seemed
getting out there with the open mic at Jekyll and Hyde's there.
Okay,
we were kind of meeting the people in the community a little bit more, and some of us kind of knew people, and we just started talking with everybody and getting involved in what was going on, and then started doing shows, as many as we possibly could.
Yeah.
I used to think it was so hard because I played in a band before, and I didn't know how to get gigs, and then this time I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go and get what I want. So I just emailed them relentlessly until they Handsome Daughter said okay, and the Goodwill said okay, etc., etc. And then after that, and then we started getting gigs, so it just became a lot easier.
Once people had heard you, they knew what you were about. Yeah.
So all you gotta do is break into that first little bit. It can be intimidating at first because they don't seem very nice when you want to book. And nobody knows who you are.
Well, because they probably get a lot of those emails, right? I mean, I'm sure they get thousands of those. Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
And it was really exciting because at the same time we were kind of coming up with Otter Than the Otters.
Yeah.
And we're just doing shows with each other and stuff like that, and it was it still is, but it was really working, especially at that time, to just kind of move us a little bit more in the light and the notice.
Yeah, I'd been connected with the boys from that band for 8 years or something.
Okay.
I've known them for that long, and so I came back and I asked them if we could do a show together, and we got a couple other bands on the bill. It was this really good turnout for a Thursday night. It was the first show we ever played.
Nice.
It was at the Handsome Daughter. And everyone was like, how'd you guys fill this place? And we're like, we don't know.
Well, that's probably good timing on your part too, because they were kind of just. I mean, I guess when you started playing shows, the Otter and the Otters were kind of on their way up, right? I mean, they were playing a ton of shows around then too, and getting a lot of attention. So it worked out. Worked out well. When you were saying you'd been in bands before and had never really figured out the booking thing, was that here in Winnipeg or was that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I played in a band called Zeraicha.
Okay.
And that was the first, that was where I got my chops and I figured out how to be on a stage kind of thing. Yeah.
How long ago was that?
3 years ago.
Okay, so it's still fairly recent, I guess. Like that, yeah.
Maybe longer, maybe 4. Before I went to Vancouver. Good time before I went to Vancouver. So, yeah, I'm not too proud of it.
We've got it on the wall.
It's impressive.
I'm super proud of it.
All super talented musicians in one band just ripping it. When I went and saw them anyways, I was just like, whoa, these are all very talented people.
I never got a chance to catch them. I was like always working. Part of the joy of working nights.
Yeah.
But I hung out with them all separately on different occasions, and like they just all blew my mind, each and every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah, there was. I guess to say I'm not proud of it because of just so the media aspect of it was just so difficult, and I didn't understand it before. Like I didn't understand how to be a band.
Yeah.
So like we had this band name called Zaraicha. It's the worst name ever.
Very marketable. Yeah. Well, that's one of the struggles now too. I mean, like the fact the internet has made it so easy for people to do what you were doing, where you can just constantly email people until they give you a show, basically, right? Yeah. Or find venues that you might not know of and contact them immediately. But it also means that like you have to do a bunch of elements of it that you wouldn't have done in the past. You have to, you have to do marketing. You have to do your own promotions. All of that stuff is totally. You can't just be creative, right? You have to actually do the extra shit on top of it.
Never ask the question.
I feel like that's kind of what we're learning to do a little bit more now.
Yeah.
We've been having our creative fun for a while now.
Right, yeah.
And now it's like, all right, now you got to learn how to network and market even better.
Yeah.
Business aspect.
Yeah.
Which no one signed up for when they started a band, right? The business part. It's not. No. Yeah. Were the two of you in any other projects before this?
No, I just jammed with my friends a lot on the beach and stuff.
I never really picked up instruments when I was younger, but I was in bands with like my brother, and we did a lot of singing and music together. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Tanner and I, like the keyboard player in our band, we've known each other for, I don't know, 7 years or something, maybe longer. But we used to like jam every summer together. We lived out at Grand Beach, and I always like wanted to be in a band, and at one point I picked up a bass guitar at a jam session. I was like, "Ooh, wow! I really like doing this thing," and I was like, "I hope I get to play bass in a band someday." Yeah, and here I am.
And then you crashed your car.
Oh yeah, well,
and you got a bass.
Oh, you want to bring up?
Sounds like there's probably a story there.
Yeah. Well, it was like I had been asked to go to Vancouver to actually join these guys, and I was. I had a car at the time. I had gotten in a fight with my ex-girlfriend or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing a little bit the incident. There was alcohol involved, and I hit a snowbank. And then I was like, how am I going to get out to Vancouver? Like, I didn't have a good bass at the time, so I was like, maybe I can use this insurance money to get a bass guitar.
I hope they don't take your insurance money away because you just said that.
I don't think that counts as insurance fraud.
They don't know who I am.
Yeah, you can use the money for whatever you want, right? If you get, I mean, I guess.
I paid the deductible, so I was at fault.
Well, the snowbank probably wouldn't be considered at fault, right? One thing, having not met any of you before, and just kind of seeing what you have online, photos, videos, things like that, the impression I have, and correct me if I'm wrong about that, maybe, is that you kind of have a loose sort of collective kind of vibe to it. It seems like there's a lot of people, and I get the impression that people maybe come in and out. Is that accurate, or is it just how it seems? It seems very kind of like loose and jammy, but with structure, if that makes sense.
We like that. We like to have this space here in our house. People come and jam all the time.
Okay.
But as a band, we are just there's just the six of us. Like Tate had joined us because I broke my wrist, and then he started playing all my parts, and then I got my cast off, and now we're playing together. Now
cool.
We just couldn't let go of him. So
yeah.
And then our drummer's kind of been in and out lately.
Yeah,
he's in a lot of projects.
He's in a lot of projects. So we've had to pull in other drummers to do the thing, to hit the drums.
I think you said it right though, but it is like a collective ego, of loose structured things that are we want the more the merrier, but also the solid four egos that make one kind of thing.
Yeah, the four of us really, I would say we're the foundation, Tanner included. We all live in this house together.
That helps, right?
Yeah, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we always talk about playing with other people. We want to just do something maybe something on the internet or something. Play with other bands.
Yeah.
Just do some collaborative stuff. Mm-hmm. Do some live shows or something. Maybe not on stage. Maybe, I don't know. We love the thought of it, but
see what the future holds.
Everyone's so busy all the time. It's hard to set all that stuff up. But I don't know. It's just doing it, organizing it.
I think maybe the reason you might get that vibe is because of how much we hug.
Maybe. I actually did see a picture of you guys hugging today on, I don't know, Instagram or something.
Right.
Yeah.
We always want to call everybody family.
Okay.
Even though we've met them 5 times or something. So
that's good.
Yeah,
it's a good attitude to have. Yeah.
Cuddles.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't mean the collective thing in any kind of negative way. It just seems very kind of...
Oh, of course not.
Almost like folk festy kind of vibe, And I don't know if that's what you're going for, but...
Yeah, we're trying to make it like a community aspect.
Yeah, we're a bunch of communists,
Sure.
Yeah.
But we'd like to make everyone feel welcomed,
Sure.
That's focus on love. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Makes sense that you get that vibe.
Cool. Well, I'm glad I wasn't completely off base.
Yeah.
So this is like the worst question. I hate asking people because it's hard for anyone to answer it. But if you run into someone you haven't seen in a long time, they hear you're in a band, how do you define what kind of music it is? And it's so hard now in the era of everything having subgenres of subgenres. And like, what do you call the type of music you play?
Actually, a friend of ours who we've come to know pretty well now, her name is Natalie from Prairie Mix. She said that we're sensual folk, or sensual soulful folk music. Is kind of how she described
Sounds
it,
all right.
and I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I stick with that too. It's on her website, and I repeat it to everybody.
Well, the soul folk thing I can see, because I mean, just like from hearing what I've heard of you, there's obvious folk elements, obvious soul elements, there's other things going on too, but those are very strong, right? Like,
for sure.
Very strong elements, for sure.
Is there anything that collectively, whether it's the full band or just the smaller group of you, that you all sort of point to as an influence? That whether it's like a particular artist or
Shaky Graves, Alabama Shakes.
Okay.
We all love Shaky Graves and Alabama Shakes. It's funny because they both have
Shakes. It's sort of unusual.
Sort of a little bit, but like I think growing up we all listened to a lot of classic rock and a lot of punk and a lot of other things.
Yeah, we were all over the place. Like all of us have a wide variety of music taste.
Yeah. A lot of older soul for me. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it's hard. I mean, it's a hard question to answer, the genre thing too. Because unless you're a very, very specific thing, everyone has kind of like, well, we're not just this, we're this and this, and like, is there anything else? I mean, if you take folk and soul as kind of the two overarching genres, is there other stuff floating around there that you kind of hear?
Rock, funk. I would even dare say like heavier, just like at points.
Let's go down the list here. So
you've got something on the wall here?
Yeah, those are all the songs on the whiteboard.
Okay.
Rock, and then there's that one's got a Ukrainian beat.
That's kind of cool. Yeah.
That kind of sounds like Polish.
Okay.
Or like like a polka.
Like a polka thing, yeah.
Sort of,
There's an R&B one. That one's really folky. Lots of folk.
There's some pop in there. There's some
there's definitely pop.
Got some satanic shit later on.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's a big word. Use that very loosely.
So I mean,
it's not satanic.
With all that in there, though, with the soul and the folk and the satanic shit and the polka, like, where do you think you fit in within the local music scene? Is there kind of a scene within the scene that you feel part of? I know that Otter and the Otters is a band you mentioned earlier, and I'm pointing at you because of the T-shirt.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have like some of those elements as well. I mean, I don't know about the satanic shit, but they have the folk thing, and they have kind of they got funk in there as well for sure. And like, are there other bands that you sort of feel a kinship with that you think that you kind of fit well with locally?
Everybody we've played with has been really good. The Deeds.
Okay.
They're great.
Yeah. I've seen Northern Royals. I really like them. Like, I thought we fit with them really well. Two Crows for Comfort. I played with their full band. That was really fun.
That was really fun.
Well, that's kind of a weird. I mean, just those last two you mentioned there, because Two Crows for Comfort is very folk, and Northern Royals is very hard rock.
Yeah.
And so it's like completely. But I guess you're in the middle, right? With
we can fit a lot of things.
Yeah, we
We're
can do a really
also very lyrically boisterous with a lot of our songs and kind of things that we sing about. So that I really like music that is conversational, that's speaking, that's mentoring, that's understanding, that's conversing. So that kind of genre, I don't know what you would label that as.
I like the lyrically boisterous and stuff.
Yeah.
Can you give me an example of what you mean by boisterous as far as lyrics, though? Like, kind of curious. It sounds good.
I sing lines, don't start acting wise, I won't bank on your lies, you just run and hide, and I won't compromise. So it's I think it's a powerful statement. Tell somebody that you're not gonna.
It's definitely a lot more hard hitting with the music too.
Yeah,
right.
It's funny how that is.
I think we're all kind of like really good at. I don't want to like pump our own tires up, but
let's do it.
Making the music match the lyrics really well.
Sure.
Like, yeah, like and putting emphasis in the like right places and like the swells with like what we're saying and stuff. So.
Right.
I feel like they're singing when they play their instruments.
Okay.
It's a really cool thing.
One, I guess that's something that maybe folk, just straight up folk, doesn't always do as well as other genres because it's so subdued, right?
Right.
I mean, I guess the boisterous part of it is just kind of having a powerful message coming out rather than more reserved.
Mm-hmm.
These two in particular just have like really, really powerful, strong vocals. Like, it's like it can be like deafening if we're in a quiet room and they just like let loose. It's really impressive. So I think that also plays a part, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What we're talking about? What genre we are?
Well,
kind of. Yeah, we kind of moved off that path a little bit. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's just pretty good.
It's hard.
It is. It's a hard question.
To distinguish what's what.
It is. Yeah.
I think it feels good, and it's people like it, and we love it. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, you should. I would hope so.
Feel great every time we play the songs on stage. They're my favorite.
That's just what you want, yeah. I guess like it's almost more something for other people to decide, right? Like what genre you're. Once it's out there, people can call it post whatever, or this hyphen,
Folk
that.
Comes up
I feel like a lot of people say that it's very nostalgic as well.
Yeah,
like they reminisce hard back into the '90s, and they're just like feeling this like nostalgic thing where it's very close to home. So.
Okay, and I guess like just to kind of place you guys on the timeline of things in Winnipeg, like did you guys you're from here, right? All of you, or you're so the Vancouver thing was just like a stop along the way, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So did any of you kind of grow up going to local shows here? Like, are there bands that kind of got you interested in the idea of starting a band when you were teenagers or whatever age?
Not specifically locally. I mean, when I turned 18, I could go to the bands. It was Ronnie Lauterbrook. He was always at the merch because I was always there, and he's insane.
Yeah, he's awesome. I had him on the show last year. He's a great guy.
Nice.
He's incredible. So that was a big inspiration. Maybe I love Weaker Thins.
Yeah.
Yeah, locally I didn't really go to a lot of shows growing up. I saw a few as I hit my teens, but like mostly immersed in the music through like family and friends outside, just like playing music together, and singing and writing and stuff.
Yeah, like at this point, like I'm kicking myself for how not involved in the music scene I was like 7 years ago. Like,
right.
I met like a lot of individuals who like had like projects they were working on, and like I would see them play live just like in their space or whatever.
Right.
And like I went to a few of their shows and stuff, and like I was like, wow, I really want to do that, but like, yeah, I wasn't really involved in the music scene before.
I saw lots of local shows, but I couldn't tell you who was playing.
Right, you just went because it was a show kind of thing, or
yeah, like I used to live just off of Broadway, so yeah, well, just like here, it was just a walk away.
Yeah,
so, and I often got into the bar without paying anything because I was a little shit. So, yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess the reason that I asked that question is because like I grew up going to shows all the time, and a lot of people I know still are people who were in bands like in the late 90s and stuff, right? And when I was playing in bands too, and it's kind of I can kind of track if someone says like, oh yeah, in whatever year I was at this venue seeing this band, I can kind of compartmentalize it in my own head. It's like, oh yeah, for sure, that's the route you took. That's because there's people in, whether it's a hip hop group or a country singer or whatever, a lot of people came through the local punk scene, regardless of genre, and there's kind of like it's kind of a standard path, and that's why they're all in each other's bands now, regardless of what kind of music they're playing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm always curious how people got into the thing, the whole local music thing, because it seems like there's way more roots getting into this than I originally had thought, because I just assumed everyone did the same way I did.
Ours was just really weird because we're all from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But we all met in Vancouver.
Yeah, that is weird.
It was really strange. There was 6 of us in the house at the time, and 5 of us were from Winnipeg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did like coincidentally it just happened like that, or
Pretty much.
Yeah. Just all kind of rolled into each other that summer,
friends.
like, okay, let's all live together in a house. And it was a beautiful house.
Yeah. And it just became the thing, like, band house.
right?
What do we call it? let's get the hell out of Vancouver.
Did you all slowly move back to Winnipeg, or was it all kind of as a group you decided to?
The three of us packed up our entire
Tanner
house.
was living out in Crown Beach at that time.
Okay.
Like I had when we were in Vancouver, we were like discussing the idea of more members and stuff, and I was like, well, my friend Tanner has the right mindset, but we might need to like make sure he plays or something. Like
the first night we met him, we fell in love with him.
Yeah,
cool.
Just
Cool.
like
He's a wonderful
good
person.
connection.
Cool. Well, that's this we want too, right? To have that kind of connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like one of the biggest defining factors. I think was like, if we're gonna do this with people, we really want to feel like we love the person, you know, like
right.
a deep connection, like as unconditional as like humans can do, you know. Yeah. So.
That's cool. That's cool. What are you? I guess since you kind of came onto the scene sort of unexpectedly and already ready, like pre-made, what is I guess the next step for you? Because a lot of bands will spend that time kind of working on just getting a set together, right, and then like, just playing their first couple shows and everything. But you've sort of already gone past that point. So what's the next?
So we're going for our EP right now. We're going to be recording in October.
Cool.
Lloyd Peterson's going to be producing it at Paintbox Studios.
Oh, right on.
And we're having our EP fundraiser show. That's why I had initially contacted you.
October 12th, friends.
You are our next step.
This is the next step right here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The EP is the next step. Though.
Yeah.
We're also getting merchandise through a friend of mine.
Cool.
She's an awesome graphic designer, so we're gonna have lots of merch for sale as well to go towards the fundraising. And
cool.
Yeah. Now it's just getting out the music. So we have 2 EPs and then an album. And the album will have the 2 EPs in it.
Okay.
So 4 songs in EP, and then another 4 on the album. And this will be released, November will be the first one, and then hopefully spring for the second, and then summer for the full album.
And this is already all written and everything? You've already figured out what's going to be on? Yeah.
Yeah, we already pretty much know what's on there.
It's all there.
We have a good idea of the 12 songs.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nothing
It's all
set
written
in
though.
stone.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes we're adding another guitarist in, we're like reworking some things, but
Yeah, everything's always growing.
yeah.
It is ever changing.
It's kind of scary to be like, okay, are we ready now? Like, no, because it's going to be better in 3 months.
Right,
You know?
right.
Well, my intentions are good. I don't always do what I should. There's a voice inside my head that say that I shouldn't be breaking it. I don't know where I've been. Don't see I keep there. And I don't know the 7 deadly sins to get me out of this hellhole. Cheat or even drink close. I'm coming right at you. Did I say well be at the I know I'm not supposed to, but I'm coming right on through. You could be my guilty pleasure. Doesn't matter to me, then do whatever. Hey, hey, yeah. Hey, hey, yeah. Well, I know I'm not supposed to. Said I got to do. I don't know what's wrong with him, but there's something on my head. Well, my intentions are good, but I always do what I should. And there's a voice inside my head that's saying I shouldn't be praying. I don't know where I've been, don't know that I keep there. And I don't know the 7 deadly sins to get me out of this hellhole. I really, really like it, Nina. Oh yeah, really hit the spot. I like what you got. I really, really like it, Nina. You can be my guilty pleasure. Doesn't matter to me, man. I want to do. Well, I know that I should not do the things that want to get me down. I don't know what's wrong with him, but there's something wrong with Well, my intentions are good, but I don't always do what I should. And there's voices out my head that say, yeah, I shouldn't be praying. And I don't know where I've been. No knows that I've been there. And I don't know the 7 deadly sins to get me out of the.
So those songs ever get? Do you ever feel kind of tired of them? Do you think that by the time they come out, it'll be sort of? Will you have passed that or no?
I don't think so.
I'm not tired of them.
I'm sure
That's good.
it will
I love singing them. I love performing them.
Anytime soon.
And but I definitely think that because of that growing and changing process and developing a different take or a sound or even a harmony to the song, they're always going to be fun to play.
Yeah, we can always do it differently.
Right.
Like I think as we all grow as individuals and musicians, that like the songs that maybe we have on this album now will be completely, well, like the same but different on a live show in like 10 years, you know?
Well, that's kind of a thing that a lot of bands, I think, encounter is, especially if they've written these songs, months or years earlier, by the time the album actually comes out, they feel like they've moved past it, or this is the old stuff I want to show. But you can't play the new stuff because people are expecting to hear what's on the record. So, I mean, I guess it sounds like you don't have a problem with that because you're constantly kind of evolving the sound. And
I'm sure we'll get sick of like the EP version, like the album version.
Right.
We'll be like, no, I don't want to play that.
Yeah, and that's the thing
the
is I get excited to do it differently.
Right.
That's fun.
Cool. Why EPs instead of just starting off with a full length?
That's
What a teasers, my friend.
Yeah, I guess that's part of the marketing thing too, right? Just figuring out how to...
I want people to want to hear more.
Okay.
And if you give it all away at first, and I'm not saying that it is like giving it away because it's not, but like I mean, if you're gonna put out all of that right away, it could be, I don't know what the word is.
I think there's like a huge number of reasons. Like one of it's like funding.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
We can start grabbing some fundraisers with the first EP, and with merchandise and whatnot. So we've kind of built up our fan base. So now's the time to put out some songs for people,
right?
And then get them kind of like prime for the next release. Okay. And then just keep doing that.
Is it to use the first EP as kind of a calling card too, like in the sense that you can get more shows and sort of look, here we are, here's something to The
festival bookings are happening right now.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Oh my god, we need it done now.
Yeah. Well, you seem like a perfect band to play festivals. I mean, just because all of the genres we were talking about and trying to define it, right? I mean, they're all big festival genres,
Right.
Yeah, people tell us that quite a bit. Like, just see you guys playing folk festival or something, just like... And even like when we played at Hoot Owl this year, it was like overwhelming how well received we were almost. Cool. It was like, it's like people were like approaching us after, like, who are you? Where'd you come from?
Yeah.
Like, you guys are so good. Well, I need a minute.
Well, and there's so many festivals in Manitoba too. Every weekend there seems like there's a new thing starting up in some town no one's ever heard of before. So
that's cool.
You definitely kind of have people who want to do the festival circuit, they have their summer basically planned out, right? Like
next summer's going to be really busy.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
Cool. So you're thinking the first EP's going to come out in November?
Mid-November.
In November? Yes. And what's the the details on the fundraising show?
October 12th at the Pyramid, playing with Northern Royals and Otter Than the Otters, of course. And $10 to get in. Music
Shrugging Doctor, free samples will be there as well.
Cool.
Shrugging Doctor.
Cool.
Yep.
And how much are you hoping to raise? Like, do you have a kind of a target, or is that like?
Well, I'm just starting a Patreon, and our target on there is 3,000. So.
So that's what we're going for, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this one of those things where you're doing it anyway, regardless of whether you make money or not, or is that?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't make any money this year.
Right. Yeah.
We'll figure out a way to get the EP done, no matter what. But we could really use some help.
Sure.
It's just like we might be really, really like skinny and poor when we get on stage for the release. Just be really sickly.
Kind of goes with the territory of being a local band.
Unless you come to our show.
Right. October 12th.
We want to get music out there for people to listen.
Sure.
We want to hear it. We want to hear it on record too. Like, it'd be cool to sit back and listen to it, like a nice produced version of what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if people are hearing you for the first time on this show and they want to kind of hear what you have out now, what's the best thing for them to do to find, whether it's videos or recordings?
SoundCloud and YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, yeah. You can check out the videos that Joey Semp shot.
Yeah, I saw those, yeah.
I did some editing on them. They're really silly. And
those are the backyard ones?
Yeah.
Those are cool, yeah.
And I'm sure by the time this is up, our website will be up. So just househandshake.com.
Cool. And then you're all over social media as well?
Yeah, of course.
Instagram, Facebook, yeah.
Awesome, okay.
Twitter.
And do you have any, after the fundraiser, do you have any shows planned, or is that sort of up in the air at this point?
Actually, I gotta book the place for the release party.
Okay, yeah, that's important.
I don't know where. Oh God.
But there will be a release party once
there will be a
Yes.
release party mid-November.
Cool.
Just keep your eye out, and then we might have another really cool show at the Pyramid. I don't know if I'm allowed to announce yet.
We might. That'll soon to be announced.
Right, so people should check out the social media and everything. And
Yeah. Keep an eye out. Keep your ears peeled.
Facebook. Sign up for our newsletter.
Do you actually have a newsletter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how do people sign up for that?
Well, I usually bring a book to each
Oh,
show.
you just physically, yeah.
Yeah, so write down your email when you show up, and we'll get the newsletter out to you.
Yeah. But
It's going to be on our website.
It'll be on our
Right,
website,
okay, yeah,
yeah.
people can
But
just
for
type it,
right
yeah.
now, physically, yeah.
Cool. Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, people should definitely check that out and go to the release, not the release show, the fundraising show, because it'd be nice to see you guys achieve your goal and get the, not be sickly, skinny, whatever you are.
I'm tired of ramen, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess, again, that's October 12th at the Pyramid, and with two bands who have also been on the show in the past, and they're really good guys, so that's cool. That's nice to see.
Yeah.
One of the best things about kind of doing this show over the past almost 6 years now is just finding out just how, I like to always describe the local music scene as being incestuous, because everyone's in each other's bands, but everyone's friends with each other too. Like, it's crazy how much people are just like, they know each other, or they have played in bands together or whatever. It's really cool. I think it's like a factor of being a small town, even though it's a big city, like just that small town mentality.
Biggest small town.
Yeah. But yeah, no, so people should check that out. Go to SoundCloud, YouTube, all that stuff. And if you want to hear more episodes of this show, you can go to witchpolice.com. All 300 and whatever episodes are there for free download streaming. You can go back into the archives if you want. And this show also airs on Sunday nights at midnight on UMFM. And those are older episodes that kind of get a second wind. So it might be like 5 months after we record this, that all of a sudden you're driving at midnight on a Sunday and this will pop up on the radio. So, I mean, by then, the EP will already be out, maybe one of the other ones too, so...
Go listen to the EP.
Go buy. If you're listening in the future, go buy it, right?
Hello, future.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, and you just look up Witchpolice on social media, you're going to find mostly this, and yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.